After months of challenges, JCPS will restore bus routes for several magnet and traditional schools.
The district laid out its plans at last night's board meeting. Jim Stratman's on the story for us this morning. Jim, JCPS now expects those routes to be restored really here in a matter of weeks.
They're giving it about 6 weeks before they say that these bus routes will be up and running for all of these students. That puts the start date around mid-March for when these students will be able to get back on the buses and head to their classes. Now, this is going to be available to all students out at Coleridge, Taylor Elementary, Young Elementary, and then Johnson Traditional Middle School. They're going to be able to get on the first buses back to school for this bus restoration project. Now, free and reduced lunch students at DuPont Manual, Butler Traditional, and Male High School also going to have that option. But first, the district needs to see how many students actually want to ride the bus when these routes are restored. That'll give them time to develop which routes they're going to create, and then also give the drivers time to practice those routes. At last night's meeting, concerns were brought up about possibly replicating the transportation meltdown of 2023. But JCPS transportation officials say they feel confident they can handle this route restoration.
What are the chances of a really bad day happening like we had a year ago if we do this?
We'll run the command center like we would for a normal first day.
Okay.
But in essence, adding back these it is not technically as difficult as doing 50,000 students on the first day of school.
The first step for JCPS is going to involve sending out a survey to parents to gauge how many kids will want to ride the bus. Additionally, this could open up more school choice opportunities for students coming next year. That's something that we'll talk about coming up here in the next half hour of GMK. Eric, Grace.
Thank you. The first step for JCPS is going to be sending out a survey to parents to gauge how many kids will be riding these additional routes. Now, additionally, this could change, could open up more school options for affected students next year, as Jim mentioned. In other news, 2 people will be sentenced today for homicide back in August. Kevin Thompson and Decacia West have each pleaded guilty to felony charges in the death of Kyle Elsie. Investigators say they shot and robbed him at a car wash. The state is recommending Thompson serve 36 years for murder and robbery. A sentence of 5 years has been recommended for West, who investigators say admitted to driving Thompson to the car wash. Both were originally set to be sentenced back in December, but that was rescheduled for today. That's happening at 9:15.
And charges have now been dropped against a 19-year-old who had been charged with murder. This all stemmed from a fatal shooting in the East End just off Westport Road in the Plantation neighborhood. Metro Police say officers were called to Malvern Hill Road around 2:30 yesterday on a report of a shooting. Police found a man inside the house with a gunshot wound. He died after being taken to the hospital. Several hours later, Metro Police announced 19-year-old Taj Harrison was being charged with that murder. Police later said homicide detectives got new information and, after talking with the Commonwealth's attorney, determined Harrison wouldn't be charged. Police say everyone involved in the shooting is accounted for.
6:05 now, and Jeremy Harrell, the former founder and CEO of the Veterans Club, has reported to prison. He's been booked at a federal correctional institution in Ashland, Kentucky. Now, we talked to him last month after he was convicted of stealing $128,000 in unemployment disability payments while actively running the organization for the last 5 years. Harrell's attorney said the Ashland prison is a low-security facility which offers more freedom. Harrell will serve 6 months.
Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg is laying out his legislative priorities for Kentucky's 2025 General Assembly agenda. Among those is combating the city's housing crisis. In his weekly address, Greenberg said he supports creating a statewide affordable housing credit. He also wants to eliminate sales tax on building materials and to make it easier for faith-based organizations to build affordable rental housing on their properties.
To be blunt, we have a housing crisis in Louisville, and we need all the help that we can get. Like every other industry, housing is based on supply and demand. And right now in Louisville, there simply is not enough supply of housing.
The mayor said he wants Louisville to have autonomy in requiring background checks for all firearm sales and to require a waiting period for all first-time home buyers. first-time gun buyers, excuse me. Greenberg is also pushing for Kentucky to enact a statewide wiretapping law to address gangs and violent offenders.
Demolition has started at the old Givaudan factory in Clifton after part of it exploded back in November. A spokesperson announced last week the company would not be rebuilding on the Payne Street site. And from our reporting, we know the company is considering locations in Kentucky and in some neighboring states. And this comes after people who live nearby petitioned that company to build somewhere else. The investigation at the factory is still going on and will likely last several months.
More than a week ago, we covered the story of a young man who jumped into a lake frozen over to help save two teenage girls who fell through the ice. You might remember that story. The city is now honoring 18-year-old Brandon Malone for his bravery. Mayor Craig Greenberg proclaimed the DeSales High School senior as a distinguished Louisville citizen. Greenberg even offered him a job as a lifeguard at the Algonquin and Camp Taylor Park pools.
I would just like to say how grateful and happy I am right now. Did not think I would be here in this moment, and I'm just so grateful that I have all these people around me. And
Malone was also gifted 2 free tickets to any of the shows that'll be performed at the Iroquois Amphitheater this season.